So I'm out fishing, as you can obviously see, and anyone who has watched one of my videos that I record while I'm fishing, you guys know that this is probably going to sound pretty all over the place. I'm going to jump between like 20 different topics, but let's just get into it. Right now, something I was thinking about was how they're just saying that hurt people, but hurt people also become some of the best healers. For example, a lot of therapists went through incredibly traumatic things, and it is those traumatic experiences that made them decide, instead of hurting the world, I'm going to help it. And I've been on many podcasts where people have asked me the question, why didn't I do that? Like, not as in them saying that I should have went out and tried to get a sense of revenge or a sense of taking my frustration out, but why, despite all the things I went through with, growing up, getting kicked out, all the things I went through of getting bullied and all that, despite all of it, why in the world did I decide that I'm going to give back? Why did I decide that I was going to help people when so many people who get hurt go out and hurt people? And I was thinking, why did I do that? And the simple reason is I didn't want people to feel how I felt. Instead of taking my anger out, I decided I was going to give to others what I wish I had and make sure that they don't feel and go through what I went through. And I know how heroic that wording sounds, because in the moment, it wasn't some decision that I sat down and, fully thought out. It was much more of a gut feeling of figuring out, what do I want to... Oh, that is a really big turtle right there. It was a lot more of a gut feeling of knowing that I didn't want to become like the people who hurt me. Knowing that despite everything that we go through, despite how situations may make us feel, despite what people say about us, despite what people do, you still have the power to decide your reaction. Because we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control who we decide to become despite what happened to us. Despite how people may have treated you, despite that breakup, despite that pain, what are you going to do with it? Because a lot of people, let's just use this example, they get cheated on, so they go cheating on other people who had absolutely nothing to do with the situation that happened to them. They take their anger out on people who don't deserve that. How do I want to put this? Like I said at the start of the video, they become hurt people who go out and hurt people. And we can look at, extreme examples of major tragedies that happen in the world. We can look at so many situations of hurt people hurting people. And like I said, I know that when I'm fishing, I go all over the place. I talk about 50 different things all at once. But this is really about how you get to decide who you are and what you become and the impact that you have, even if something bad happened. What are you going to do with that pain? There's a word, it's called transmutation. It means to take one thing and turn it into something completely different. Like turning lead into gold. That is an example from the alchemy, which before we had modern day science, we had something called alchemy. And the goal of alchemy was to figure out how to turn lead into gold. So when we think about our pain and we think about our problems and we think about whatever challenges we went through, ask yourself, what can I do with this pain? Because instead of becoming a hurt person who hurts other people, how about instead you become a hurt person who heals yourself and helps heal others? And when I say heal yourself, I don't mean that you figure it all out on your own. What I mean is that however you go about it, you get the help that you need in order to move forward. That might be therapy, it might be journaling, it might be meditation. Whatever it is for you is whatever it is for you. But instead of becoming like the people who hurt you, become what you wish you had. Become somebody who does something positive with that pain. Think about someone like Billie Eilish. She makes heartbreak music and really sad, depressing music because she went through a lot of really sad, depressing things. Or think of somebody like, I'm trying to think of another example. Therapist. Yeah, like a lot of therapists, they have really traumatic childhoods, so they go become therapists so that they can, help children like they wish somebody would have helped them. And instead of looking at our past and looking at what happened and saying nobody was there for me, nobody cared, nobody, supported me at my lowest moments, it's a much better idea for us to go, okay, my situation happened. That was real. I went through that. My pain is valid and all that. However, I don't gotta hurt people. I can do something with this. I can, become like a boxer. Floyd Mayweather. It was Mike Tyson. He had really bad anger management issues, so he became a boxer. He was arrested like 30 times before the age of 14, I believe. So I want you to ask yourself the question of, all right, how do I feel? I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm sad, I'm feeling these feelings, right? And it's okay to feel how you feel, right? Don't shame yourself. There's nothing wrong with being sad. There's nothing wrong with anger. These are feelings, and feelings are an indication of what's going on inside of us, but they don't have to direct our entire life. Feelings are like a signal. They are a GPS. They're a sign, but you're the one behind the wheel. And if you allow your feelings to control you, I'm quite sure that we can all put two and two together and see how emotions can make us make really bad decisions just because I felt like it was a good idea in the moment. Because in the moment, people commit, crimes, they hurt others, they gamble all their money away, they get addictions, all because in the moment, I feel a certain way. And again, this doesn't mean that you shame your feelings, this doesn't mean that you repress them, this doesn't mean that you push them down. It means that you notice, here's how I feel, you stop, you pause, you think, and you go, okay, the thing that I feel like doing right now, is that a smart idea? Is it a smart idea to do that thing right now? And that can really keep you out of prison, like genuinely. So, you have to find a healthy outlet for your feelings. For me, it's fishing. Running my business, doing all these emails and going to all these podcasts and, constantly talking about my deepest, darkest childhood traumas, it's emotionally taxing. Like, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Sometimes it feels emotionally taxing. It feels a little mentally draining. I wouldn't call it mentally draining because I love doing it, but I would call it like, it takes energy. Don't get me wrong, it takes energy to do this. So, you have to find ways to deal with what you're dealing with in a healthy way. And if you don't know what to do, talk to somebody. Therapists, counselors, teachers, family members, your boyfriend or girlfriend, husband, wife, whoever, maybe if it's really severe, there's, hotline that you could call. There are support groups. There's addiction counseling and all that stuff, right? So there is help available. It can feel scary to ask for help. It can feel really like this feeling of, I wish I had it all figured out. This feeling that asking for help makes you weak. But actually, asking for help is a sign of strength. Asking for help is a sign of strength that you figured out that I don't have it all figured out. Nobody does. And it's okay to ask. But a closed mouth can't get fed. If you don't reach your hand out, nobody can help you. It's like if you're drowning, but you keep your hands at your side. Nobody can grab your hand and help you out of the water. So if you feel like you're drowning, put your hand out and you'd be surprised somebody might help you. And if you've tried other things like asking for help but it didn't work, that's when religion comes real in handy. Pray about it. Maybe you find like some sort of spiritual path, whatever. But back to the point. When you feel these feelings, ask yourself, what is a healthy way I can deal with it? Boxing, yoga, meditation, journaling, reading a book, doing some push-ups, going for a run, whatever. And when I feel frustrated and I'm out fishing, it just helped calm me down. Like, it's just me and the water and this camera if I decide to record a video. But it gave me the opportunity to just sit and do nothing. It gave me the opportunity to just be with myself in a certain way. And I feel like a lot of times we feel the silence because we're scared of a part of ourselves. I think that's the way I'm going to word that. Because when you sit with your own thoughts, all the things that you kind of unknowingly run from, they come to the surface. Those fears, those insecurities, those doubts, those whatever, all of that stuff comes to the surface. And then you got to deal with it. And it can be, a little scary to deal with it because a lot of the things that we've been running from hurt bad. But if you've ever tried to hold a beach ball underwater, you know that the harder you try to push down your emotions and not deal with it, eventually it's going to come shooting up and smack you in the face. So the sooner you deal with it, the better. Easier said than done, obviously. Much easier said than done. But it's in the challenges, it's in facing it that you're able to grow from it. And once you learn how to grow from it, it now puts you in the unique position to help other people who deal with that exact same thing. And that is when we bring it full circle. And you become a person who was hurt, but you help others. Instead of becoming a hurt person who hurts other people, you become someone who was hurt and helps other people. And the way that you help them doesn't mean that you have to become some like therapist or a motivational speaker like what I do or any of that. Do we have a fish on there? I'm going to give that time and let it fully eat that because I think there might be something on there. But back to the point. Instead of becoming someone who was hurt and take their anger and their frustration and their sadness and all these things out on people who genuinely have nothing to do with it, you become somebody who was hurt, did the thing that they needed to do to grow and heal and, move forward, and you help other people. And that is by far one of the most beautiful things ever. You can help them by making music. You can help them by, I was becoming like a therapist or something. You can help people by, let me think of some other things. I don't know. There's a guy on YouTube, I forgot his channel name, but I think it's called like Dad How Do I, where he makes videos teaching basic life skills like how to change a tire, how to fix a leaky pipe, for people who grew up without dads. And that's how he helped people. So, message of the video, go out there, help somebody. Figure out, what can I do with these feelings, despite the pain, despite the hardships, despite the trauma, despite all that. Who do I want to become in this world? How do I want to give back? Instead of becoming a hurt person who hurts people, I'm going to become somebody who was hurt, helps people, heals people, and give back to humanity. And that, honestly, I can only describe it as the most beautiful thing ever. It's genuinely an amazing thing. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to keep fishing. I'm going to keep, living, laughing, and enjoying my life. I hope that all of you do too. I hope that you all have is that something? Nah, that's not. I hope that you all have a wonderful, blessed day. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, so think of stuff like building confidence, mindset, self-worth, feeling like you understand yourself better, all that good stuff. The link for that is in the description, as well as I recently opened up the option for if there's a video or like a subject that you want me to make a video explaining, there's a Google form where you can submit that idea. And if I think it's a good for the channel, I'll make it. Last thing, if you're looking for podcast guests or speakers for your high school or youth organization, link for that is also in the description. Have a good one.